Hi, welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. I'm your host, Brian Koval. Before we get started, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. If you want to see me play your favorite deck or your spicy brew on the channel, I take donation deck lists. I'll do a deck tech, play a full Magic Online League, and help tune your list. If that sounds good, check out my contact info. It's in the video description below. Now let's go play some Magic.
Welcome to another BoshNRoll video. Today I am playing Legacy, and this is at the request of subscriber Scotch, who wanted me to shout out to his WoW guild Dadbod. So Scotch from Dadbod, this one's for you. Scotch wanted me to play, not any specific list, but he told me play the deck that tilts you the most. So that's open to interpretation in a lot of ways, and I thought about it a lot, probably more than I do most of my lists I play, honestly. Like, what tilts me? Because in general, I'm not super tilty. Like, I release a video every day. I record 2 leagues a day. I play a lot of Magic. At some point, you play so much Magic that tilting isn't worth your time. Like, you could just go into another league instead of being mad. And I don't get super tilty that much anymore. But I kept coming back to Sneak and Show. And this is like a double blade tilt edge here, because when I'm playing against Sneak and Show, I'm always like, okay, I have 4 Force of Wills and a Red Blast in my hand, and then they somehow just like win the game anyway with like the perfect sequence of like 5 cards in their hand, and they use their whole hand, so you know they just top decked the last piece they needed, or you know, whatever, like playing against it. Or I'm like, okay, I'm good if I get a first turn, and that's when they go Lotus Petal, Ancient Tomb turn 1, and you're just dead. So it's a little tilty on that side. And then on the other side, every time I play Sneak and Show, I'm the one who ends up like turn 1 Show and Tell, and they put in like Oblivion Ring and exile my Emrakul, and then I don't function. Or I get Sneak Attack into play, annihilate them to 0 permanence with Emrakul, and then I just never draw another creature, and they eventually grind back in and beat me. Or I end the game with like 4 Show and Tells in hand and no monster at any point, or just like 2 Show and Tells, 5 protection spells, never have a monster to put in. So that's my experience playing with and against Show and Tell, and it's pretty tilting either way. So Scotch from Dadbod, this is my tiltingest deck for sure in Legacy. Now that we've done the preamble of why I've chosen this deck, let's talk about the deck a little bit for the people who may not have seen it before, if you're new to Legacy or just haven't run into this one yet. Basically, the deck is called Sneak and Show. It's named after Show and Tell and Sneak Attack. Show and Tell, 3 mana sorcery. Each player may put an artifact, creature, enchantment, or land card from their hand onto the battlefield. The bet here is that you're going to have something better to put in than they do, like Griselbrand or Emrakul, which is generally bigger and better than any individual permanent that a Legacy deck can produce. So you jam this thing early and often, you get an Emrakul or a Griselbrand, and your opponent dies. Sneak Attack, 4 mana, red enchantment, pay 1 red, put a creature card from your hand directly onto the battlefield. That creature gains haste, sack it at the next end step. You're playing these monsters anyway, you're playing the fast mana anyway, and this is a second way to cheat them into play. And this one ends the game, costs a little more. It costs 5 to get your first attack in with a creature, but it has haste, so it removes the friction of passing the turn with Show and Tell. Because some decks do play Karakas, they do play Oblivion Ring, they do play, you know, whatever, that can make it so passing the turn with Emrakul doesn't actually win the game. So Sneak Attack, you could spend a little extra time and get your attack in right away. And the rest of the deck is just here to put these cards onto the stack and protect them. Got the full 12 blue cantrips here, Brainstorm, Ponder, Preordain, 4 Lotus Petal, plus 2 Simian Spirit Guide for 6 Lotus Petals in the deck, and then Daze and Force of Will to cheese it over the finish line. Where this particular build gets really interesting, and this build is JPA's top 8 build from the recent Legacy Challenge. JPA 93 on Magic Online is the name in Sneak and Show. If you ever want to know how to build Sneak and Show, just Google his name. He will have the correct build for the metagame. And what he's got going on in the sideboard here is 2 Ragavans. Nimble Pilferer. If you've been watching Legacy or modern content for the last 5 or 6 weeks, you are no stranger to Ragavan. It's redefined what a lot of the tempo decks are doing. It's redefined even what some of the control decks are doing. Like Jeskai Standstill featuring Ragavan is a big part of the format right now. And it's really cool to have it in a combo deck sideboard because game 1, Swords to Plowshares, Fatal Push, Lightning Bolt don't do anything against Emrakul like Grizzlebrand. So your opponent is incentivized to board those out. And then you board in a 1-drop that can beat down and gain card advantage, and they don't have removal spells in their deck anymore to answer it. And then they have to do weird stuff to mitigate the Ragavan, which clears the way for your show and tell to resolve later on. If they can answer it at all. Sometimes it might just go coast to coast. So Ragavan is in the sideboard. Also, Omniscience is in the sideboard now. Omniscience has been part of the main deck for a very long time, but it seems like JPA has built this deck with the Simian Spirit Guides and the 4 Lotus Petals to just overpower Daze. Because Daze is a big part of the metagame right now with Ragavan Delver decks being so popular. So just 6 ways to dumpster Daze, and Emrakul Grizzlebrand will beat a Delver deck. There's basically nothing, since they banned Oko anyway, that can remove or race a Grizzlebrand or an Emrakul out of a Delver deck. So if you can get through the Dazes and the Force of Wills, you're gonna win. So that's definitely a very clear meta consideration for the Omnisciences being in the sideboard. The reason Omniscience is in the deck is it works kind of like Sneak Attack does, where it makes it so you don't have to pass the turn. So you cast Show and Tell, you put in Omniscience, you hard cast Emrakul off of the Omniscience, which triggers the extra turn thing, and then you take an extra turn and get to attack with your Emrakul right away. So that's in there for decks like Maverick and Death and Taxes, and decks that can actually control a single legendary creature entering the battlefield. So Omniscience is in the board for when we don't need to beat Daze, but we do need to beat permanents, and that's the cool sideboard tech. The rest is just, more ways to protect your spells. Flusterstorm, Hydroblast, Abrade, Pyroclasm keep you alive against creature decks. Defense Grid fights counter spells. And then Explosives also keeps you alive. Blood Moon for the decks full of non-basics. And the rest of the sideboard's pretty straightforward for a Legacy deck. So let's hope that I don't end up tilting off here. I'm not going to fully go ape shit because I just don't do that. But there's a good chance that I will be frustrated with the performance of this deck throughout the league, or that we'll get some salt in the chat from the opponent. Let's see if we can give Scotch what he wanted to see. I'm on the play, and we're already getting a small taste of why I don't like this deck. I have Mana Acceleration, Counterspell Protection, and 3 A's but no B in my AB combo deck. So I have to mulligan this hand. Alright, now I have 2 B's, no A. But I do have Daze and Cantrips, so I think that I'm going to keep this one bottom. Do I bottom? Alright, so let's think about this for a second. If I keep both Sneak Attacks, that gives me Counterspell Protection, because they counter 1, I get them with the second. But I need all my lands to cast this 4-drop at some point. So I think maybe I bottom a Sneak Attack and use my Preordain to try to string together a monster. I don't know if this hand is too fair and I should go to 5. Mulligan decisions are like an enormous percentage of playing this deck. That's among the better Preordains I could have found. There's no monster there, but Double Ponder is nice when you're trying to turn your hand from 0 to hero. Oh, Verdant Catacombs. Am I getting Thought Seized? Alright, a forest does not cast Thoughtseize. Heritage Druid. Alright, so this is one of the better decks that exists, like one of the better matchups that exist. I played Elves for a long time, and that's part of why Sneak and Show is such a tilt for me, because it's just a hilarious dumpstering. But they are also a combo deck. They know how to go fast. So I need to string something together quick here, or they could actually win. Alright, so I can put Simian Spirit Guide on top and put Sneak Attack into play next turn, but I'm not sure if that wins the game. I guess that's not true. I need the Force of Will to make sure I stay alive, and then I can Sneak Attack over the next 2 turns, or I could just shuffle this and... Alright, so let's figure this out. If I draw Force of Will now, I can force something to get to turn 3, where I play my Misty. And then if I get to turn 4, I can Spirit Guide. I can cast, activate. Yeah, okay, I think this is a reasonable place to be. I just need to not be dead when I get there. We have a very clear line to a turn 4 attack with Emrakul. But I need to survive that long, and if they have Allosaurus Shepherd here, I have no protection. Alright, I'm going to fire off Force of Will on this. And I am forcing, not dazing, because I need all my mana. I just need to slow them down a little bit, and yeah, their land drop being Cradle was a big part of why I did it when I did. And that kept them off 3 elves for Heritage Druid. Alright, it's got to survive this turn. Let's go. Yeah, Elves has basically no counterplay in game 1, except killing you, which could definitely happen here. Yeah, there's the glimpse. Like, if they do glimpse me out here, I'll feel a little silly for spending my force on Nettle Sentinel, but you never know if they have glimpse or natural order, and Allosaurus Shepherd makes it so you don't necessarily get to wait and force their payoff spell. Like, you have to sort of bottleneck them, or else they can just juke you with that. And they now have 7 permanents in play, which makes it so Emrakul isn't necessarily lethal. Uh-oh, a Nettle Sentinel. Yeah, I think we lost this one. And you can go in the comment section and tell me I'm crazy for forcing Nettle Sentinel and I should have waited for the glimpse, which probably would have won this game if I did it. But at the same time, like, you know, what if they have Allosaurus Shepherd? Look, there it is. Did they draw that more recently? Did they have it the whole time? It's hard to know. Alright, so they can activate Shep and make their things 5/5s, which doesn't kill me yet. Scavenging Ooze is pretty good. It's not an elf, though. But they do still have their Cradle untapped. There comes 7 mana. Well, the good news is that Scotch from Dadbod is getting what he wanted here, because I was on the play game 1 against one of the best matchups, and I'm probably going to lose it. So, the classic experience playing this deck that you can show. Like, the win is literally on top of my deck. Like, I get to my turn, I draw a card, and the game is over. But, nope. Probably not going to happen. Alright, there's Natural Order, which I believe they still have an untap with Quirion Ranger. Yeah, so they have 13. They can attack me for 22 here. They might even have a second Natural Order for a second hoof, which is a perfectly reasonable thing to do, by the way. And the great news is, even if they forget to untap their creature that can attack and just hit me for 13, I put in Emrakul, I annihilate them, they sack 6 permanents, go to 3 life, and then I'm at 3 for their attack. So, yep. Lost to one of the best matchups in the format in a game 1 situation where I was on the play. Oh, could have saved the force for Glimpse. I'm not saying that was not a thing that was available. I'm just saying it's hard to know how to play against this deck. Allosaurus Shepherd just messes up so many things. And I think this is an Omniscience matchup, much more than it is a Daze matchup. I don't know how much counterplay I'm supposed to bring in, like the Pyroclasms and Explosives and stuff. Like, I could just try to win when I'm on the play, especially since they don't necessarily know what I'm playing yet. Like, I feel like Pyroclasm is just so insane that I need it, even if that's not really my plan. But they just saw Ponders and Fetch Lands, and then I died, and they saw Force and Daze, so I could easily be Izzet Delver that kept a hand without attackers in it, or I could be something more devastating like Sneak and Show. So I think I actually want to cut my Dazes, or at least some number of them, because Daze is pretty bad against elves. And I think I want all my fast mana on the play. My plan here is going to be to jam a Show and Tell as early as possible. And I don't think I want to waste space on Grafdigger's Cage, at least not on the play. On the draw, I'll move into a more control-y deck for game 3, like with some more counterplay. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it like this. Just bring in the Omnisciences and the best sideboard card. All my fast mana, just win the game first. This is a show and tell. Oh, Omniscience doesn't win the game on its own. So this is a turn, potential or turn 2 show and tell if I find one, but I think I'm going to mulligan this, just try to go faster. Alright, I'm going to keep this one. I'm going to send the Preordained to the bottom. And I'm just going to look for something to do with these ponders. Just some payoff. Me and Emrakul give me a Grizzlebrand. Let's go. This is a turn 2 show and tell if I can line it up. I believe I'm bottoming Preordain because Sneak Attack is a reasonable backup plan. Elves discard is one of their ways they can interact with combo decks. So I'm going to try to stay resilient against discard. Alright, there's a shuffle. Alright, so Ponder failed. It's alright. We got more going on here. If they like Thoughtseize my Ponder here, I'm just in full top deck mode. Alright, they just got Forest instead. Ponder again. Here we go. Shuffling away another Ponder. I've now seen 9 cards. 9 extra cards out of the deck. My draw step plus 2 Ponders that each saw 4 cards. And no B to go with my pair of A's. Now I can show and tell, put in Sneak Attack, and activate Sneak Attack to get in there for one, or with a creature. So if I draw a creature, I have a pretty explosive line available. That just needs to happen before I'm dead. And they have uncounterable spells. They know they're doing fine over there. And I guess let's go to my turn and hope that Emrakul is the top card of my deck. Nope. And drew Force of Will, which doesn't work against Allosaurus Shepherd. Scotch, you're getting what you want. I'm having such a good time right now. So Ranger on the stack. They're very close to just 2-shotting me with Allosaurus Shepherd activations. The one thing that they need to slow down and consider, and they don't even need to consider it that much, is like, if I am a Delver deck and I have Lightning Bolt for their Shepherd and Force for their Natural Order, like if they just jam Natural Order right now and I go Lightning Bolt counter it, they're in trouble. So they could just attack me for 4 and stay fair and try to go wide and not expose themselves to the combo kill. This looks like a Green Sun Zenith they're casting and not a Natural Order. At least I hope that's the case. It is a Green Sun Zenith. Though if they get Heritage Druid and just they could still cast Natural Order this turn. It looks like they're making 6 mana for something. Is it Archon? Yep, Archon of Valor's Reach. Let's see what they name with this thing. Probably Instant, if they think I'm a Delver deck. It's Enchantment. Okay. So they do think I'm Sneak and Show. Emrakul can still win this game. Like the Emrakul show and tell, put in Sneak Attack. Let's go. Emrakul or Grizzlebrand off the top, please deck. And I am dead on board to the Allosaurus Shepherd. So thank you very much, Sneak and Show. Scotch from Dad Bod, you got what you wanted. I kept a hand with 2 A's, 2 Ponder to find a B. I've seen, 10, 11 cards this game, maybe more, 12, and couldn't find any of those. So we are dead in round number 1 to one of the best matchups in the format. On the draw in the second game, my hand has neither A nor B, nor a good plan to find either, so I'm going to mulligan. This hand, I mean, I think I'm going to keep this one. Being on the draw with 2 cantrips, like, please tell me in the chat or in the comments, if you're a show and tell expert, do you just go to 5? Do you go to 4? Just looking for something? Like one half or the other? Do half the work? Okay, that makes it easier. Now I know which half I'm looking for. And it looks like we're playing against Amulet Titan, which is a deck that's recently crept into the Legacy metagame with the advent of Urza Saga. So they are not going to counter what I'm doing, but if I cast Show and Tell, they could put in Primeval Titan and kill me on the following turn, which is not my ideal situation, it's safe to say. So I'm going to keep this Preordain because shuffling my deck and drawing a random card is worse than shuffling my deck and then looking at 2 cards and picking my favorite one. Summer Bloom right here in your deck. I'm going to Force of Will the card I can Force of Will before it's too late. And I'm not casting Daze because getting to 3 mana before they destroy me is pretty important. Alright, so because I have actual factual Preordain, it's better to shuffle before I cantrip. Every other cantrip, it's better to cantrip before you shuffle, but Preordain, you don't want to shuffle in the cards that you're about to bottom with the Scry. So this gives me the 2nd red if I want to keep it for a sneak attack. It gives me the 3rd mana for a Show and Tell. I think I need to sneak attack this deck though, where like City of Traders is helpful, but I think I'm going to bottom both though, because I need to... Alright, cool. Found the sneak attack. I need to do that first. Now Show and Tell and Grizzlebrand. I think I'm going to bottom both of these, because now I'm looking for lands to sneak attack with. So sneak attack plus Grizzlebrand is a combo, because you can sneak in Grizzlebrand and draw cards till you find Emrakul and one-shot your opponent. God, if they have a 2nd bloom. And I fetched Basic Island instead of Volcanic Island because this deck does have Wasteland in it, and I don't want to lose that way. But now we're starting to get pinched by the lack of red sources, which I totally could have avoided. Green Sun Zenith for Arboreal Grazer. Classic Legacy play. Okay, now it's time to just hit land drops. Okay, that does what I need it to. So, top, top, top. Do not shuffle. So next turn I can... Oh, I could cast Sneak Attack right now. Oh, shit. No, the Lotus Petals will be gone. Yeah, I think I should cast Sneak Attack now, because I'm not winning this game. If I... Oh, I don't... This is a 4-drop, Ryan. Relax. Okay. That was a really bad fetch. So... Okay, so... If I could have cast Sneak Attack right now, I should have done it, because being able to put in Grizzlebrand with your land drop still available, draw 7, jam Emrakul is pretty good, but I could have done that next turn anyway, and now I have played into... I've lost the Lotus Petal for no reason, so now I need to draw a mana source to play this game. Yeah, I fucked this up. Like, I had it. I literally just had it, and I threw it away. And now I have Force of Will for no reason. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They can resolve Primeval Titan next turn, but... Alright. Here we go. Here's Sneak Attack. And I'm just gonna have to pass the turn and hope it works, when I could have pretty easily won the game this turn. I just got stuck in the 2nd level thinking and missed the important level 1 fact that I just don't have 4 mana. I'm not allowed to tilt off this game, because this one's totally on me. So they can cast Primeval Titan. Oh, whoops. They just pitched Spirit Guide in their draw step instead of in their main phase by accident. And they just... did they... Oh, they control Zed. Okay. Alright, so they can at least cast a spell this turn. They don't have the amulet to go off immediately. Okay, so they want to waste my red source. That's their plan to get out of this game, which would have been completely avoidable with the Lotus Petal. So red source off the top, please. Got there. I don't deserve this, but I'll take it. I'd like to thank Grizzlebrand. I guess I shouldn't thank him yet, because he's not in play, hasn't done anything yet. But let's... Alright, so I have the red source, looking for Emrakul now. Just draw 14 and didn't get there easily. Nice. Nice. Alright, Lotus Petal. Lotus Petal. Lotus Petal. Storm is 4. I guess I should preordain a few times. I can still find the Emrakul. Like, we're not out of gas yet. There she is. Alright. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22. Here they come. 7 plus 15. 22. Annihilate 6. Never didn't have it. Alright, so the deck helped me out there more than I deserved. I guess Arboreal Grazer has reach. They could sack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, block, and still attack with Primeval Titan next turn. I can sneak in a Grizzlebrand to block the Primeval Titan, so that's not necessarily GG. But they can be alive here with exactly Primeval Titan in play. Pretty powerful stuff. There goes those things. They block Emrakul with Blocks Diamond. They take 7, I gain 7. Do I want to brainstorm for any reason right now? Yes, because Emrakul is going to die and shuffle my deck, which is a good thing to do. So put back those. Emrakul is going to die. I'm going to sacrifice the Grizzlebrand first so it goes into my deck with the Emrakul. It gives me a higher critical mass of draws. Then we go to cleanup, discard, fetch land. Oh, wait. I can't take that back, apparently. I just realized that I probably want that fetch land due to it being a red source. And I can't necessarily count... I have the Spirit Guide. Alright, we're good. Probably should have kept fetch land, though. Okay, so I can flash in Grizzlebrand, block Primeval Titan, kill their Primetime, gain 7 life, draw 14, and refire. Right, so Caracas is in play now. Alright, so sacrifice my petal, activate this, put in the Grizzfather. Alright, they're just scooping it up to that. Yeah, they put up a pretty good fight there. Like the skip your land drop, Primeval Titan for Gruul Turf, and something you want to use right away. Like they did it with the Wasteland and with the Krakus. Those are cool plays, either way. Didn't deserve that win, but I'll take it. Blood Moon's coming in. What else is coming in? I think Omniscience comes in because this is a deck that if I cast Show and Tell, they might just win. I don't think I'm going to need to daze this deck. Hydroblast, Flusterstorm. And Spyglass can get a look at their hand. Grafdigger's Cage turns off Greensun Zenith, but that's about all it does. Engineer Explosives I don't think does anything. Spyglass can name something like Slayer Stronghold to at least turn off their combo kill. Though I think if we're in that phase of the game, I've already lost. A Braid can kill either the Elf, the Shepherd, or an Amulet, so maybe there's some play there. Don't think I need red or blue blasts. Alright, I'm gonna do this and keeping all my fast mana in. This is my plan. Maybe I want Defense Grid for like Force of Vigor on Sneak Attack or on Omniscience, but I'm hoping that's not what's going on here. Also important to note that if I cast Show and Tell and I put in Omniscience and they put in Primeval Titan will trigger and give them priority to destroy Omniscience before I can cast Emrakul off it, which is like a bit of a concern. I'm going to keep this Grizzlebrand in. I have an A, gotta find a B. I have a fast A as well with the pedal. So I could force that, or I could just ignore it. I think I'm going to ignore it, because I really need this Ponder to make my hand function. Alright, Ponder, let's go. So I found Show and Tell and Preordain, so I am not going to shuffle. I have Force pitching Preordain to protect myself this turn, and then I can cast Show and Tell and have Grizzlebrand in play, which might not be good enough if they have Primeval Titan, as we've discussed. Now they have Caracas, which is definitely too good. So now I have to find Omniscience or a Sneak Attack for this game to function. So I am going to shuffle away. I have 2 red sources in my hand, so I'm going to continue playing on basics for a little bit. And now I can pitch the Show and Tell. All right, money in the bank. I can pitch the Show and Tell to... Do I want City of Traders? I don't think so. Because next turn... That lets me cast it next turn, but that I cast it straight into... Actually, I think I do want both of these. Yeah, top. Alright. So I can pitch Show and Tell to Force of Will because Show and Tell is not part of the game plan right now. So my plan is to go fetch land, pass, and then on the following turn, go City of Traders. Oh, does that make any sense? Maybe I cast City and then protect it, or... Yeah, trying to figure out how I can get multiple red sources into play at the same time. And I guess Grizzlebrand for Lotus Petal or Spirit Guide is just the answer to that. So, yeah, I should play Sneak Attack. When do I get to play it? Just trying to figure this out. It looks like I'm going to get prime timed here anyway. Oh no, I'm going to force the Summoner's Pact. If they have prime time or some sort of interaction, they've got me here. Uh-oh, Once Upon a Time. Please don't find a Titan. Would have been super nice to have Blood Moon in hand and just let this pact resolve. Alright, Allosaurus Shepherd. They found that in the wrong order. Hopefully that Force of Will does what I need it to. So I can play Sneak Attack now, but I think I just decided that's not what I want to do. I think I want to play Flooded Strand now, and then pop all off on the same turn. Because I have 4 mana with the Lotus Petal to get Sneak Attack into play. If one of these islands were a volcanic island, I could Grizzlebrand this turn. But again, I don't know, maybe I'm being a wuss playing around Wasteland and I just need to lean in and like accept that if any other deck spends time on a Wasteland, that is good for me because that's a resource they don't have. I don't know. Alright. Time to fetch. So, Volcanic Island, City of Traders, Lotus Petal first, because this way if they have Force of Vigor, it's I get to float the mana off Lotus Petal rather than just lose my Sneak Attack. Here's Grizzlebrand. Draw a bunch of cards. So they can bounce Grizzle in response, or they can wait until combat. Like this Caracas dance is kind of tough in that position. Alright, oh, I have Blood Moon. And I have Emrakul. So I will either gain 7 or annihilate 6 permanents here. Right, exile Simian Spirit Guide. Activate this. Here comes Emrakul. Here comes the Queen. So, ooh. Okay. I think I was supposed to draw 7 looking for Lotus Petal before combat. Like, I could draw 7 looking for my other Spirit Guide right now. Right, so I'm going to let that resolve. I am going to draw 7 looking for Spirit Guide, but I should have done this pre-combat for Lotus Petal, so I have not played this well. No surprise there. Brainstorm can get another look for Spirit Guide, and didn't get there. That's fine. I don't really deserve it. I'm going to put back 2 lands I don't need, and take my attack for 7. And I don't think I need to pay more. So Grizzlebrand's just going to die. And then I have to discard a bunch of cards. So I have a pile of Force of Wills. I do like the Blood Moon. I don't need the fetch land because I have Volcanic Island. I have to discard so many cards right now. I don't need 3 Emrakuls. Don't even think I need 2 Emrakuls, honestly. Alright, so discard those. The redundant Sneak Attack. Yeah, I think I can Force of Will most answers to my Resolve Sneak Attack. I don't want to commit to a second one. Omniscience isn't doing anything this game. And just like Preordain and... do I sit on the Blood Moon just in case they have a backup? Like some way to remove Sneak Attack that I can't interact with? Like I need to keep a red source because if they have Wasteland, I want to be able to activate. I actually want to be able to activate twice, which is kind of tough. So maybe I just keep the Blood Moon, sit on that, and ship another Preordain. This is so many cards. I want them all. I think I have to get rid of one more. Maybe it is the Blood Moon. Maybe that's just not the plan. Though I can Blood Moon turn off Karakas attack with Emrakul, so I think that is the plan. Alright, I'm just going to hope I don't need 2 Force of Wills this turn. So if they have Primeval Titan, uncounterable Primeval Titan, I'm going to lose. Okay. Glad I played around that. So here we go. Float 2. Ooh, this is actually interesting. I should be pondering, I think, because if I find another red source, I can win right away, because this will die before I can tap it for red. So, looking for a Lotus Petal or Spirit Guide. Shuffle the library, yes. Show and Tell. I shuffled away my Omniscience. No love there. It can Brainstorm here. We found Grizzlebrand, which I could put in, draw 7 once, and then maybe die. That doesn't sound great. I think I just take a turn off to Blood Moon, and then I win cleanly on the following turn. Though, I mean, I have double force for a Force of Vigor, which is the only thing I'd really be worried about in that situation. So, I can put Brainstorm Ancient Tomb on top. I'm going to want the Tomb next turn as a red source. And that's gone. Yeah, I think spending this time to make sure they don't do anything is good enough. And Blood Moon will destroy Urza Saga immediately. Alright, they're just conceding. So there's a cool interaction here. Urza Saga is a saga, enchantment saga, regardless of what sort of land it also is. And the rules for sagas are they get sacrificed as a state-based action when they have lore counters equal to or greater than the number of chapters they have. Blood Moon turns it into a mountain. Mountains don't have chapters, so Blood Moon immediately destroys Urza Saga. Like, as a state-based action, if Blood Moon resolves, Urza Saga goes straight to the graveyard. They don't even get to keep it as a mountain. But we won the match. Blood Moon's too good. On to the next one. On the play in round number 3, and this hand has a lot of cantrips, but neither A nor B, and it doesn't have a second land. But I guess there's a world where I just ponder into, like, land show and tell. I don't know. This has a lot of protection. Tell me if this is a mulligan, but I'm keeping it like it's a control deck. I don't know. Might be a mistaken combo. I'm gonna Preordain first, because Preordain just gives you linear information that works through the deck, like 1, 2, 3 cards, and they're gone. Ponder is better once you have an A and you're looking for B. Like, having found these monsters here, that makes me want to... Now I know I need to ponder for an enabler, which is a powerful way to go. If I had pondered first and the ponder had like Show and Tell and Grizzlebrand and Emrakul but no land, then I don't know what I do with that, but Preordain is the way to start here. Oh. Well, that's as good as anything to Force of Will. Okay, so they are an Echo deck, not a normal Eldrazi or whatever kind of Chalice deck. Alright, so if I find Show and Tell off this ponder, I can actually cast it right now. Or I could wait a turn to Sneak Attack, or I could cast Sneak Attack right now. Do not shuffle my library. Oh no, I can't. I'm so good at counting. Alright, well, I can play Sneak Attack and shuffle with it next turn. And jam Grizzlebrand next turn. So here we go. I'm running out my Lotus Petal because if they echo, I want as many resources in play ready to go as possible. I'm going to struggle this whole league with the fact that sneak attack costs 4. Just be ready. Alright, Urza's in play now. If they have a Force of Will, I'm in trouble. Okay, they're spewing out resources. I think they're planning to echo. Or not. Or they're just holding up blue mana. Okay, cool. Alright, let's pop. The fun don't stop. Sneak attack. Is it force blue card left in their hand? It is not. Alright. Activate this. Put in the Grizzle Dad. I'm gonna take some looks for that Emrakul. Oh, I'm getting Hull Breached. That's what's happening right now. Alright, I can still force it. Okay, I can daze it. That was lucky. Woof. Should have thought about Hull Breacher. Luckily, drawing 7 is still pretty damn good. And I found the Spirit Guide, so if I find Emrakul, we can get in there. Ooh, they just realized they should have popped their Lion's Eye Diamond. Yeah, I didn't see that either. We did not find an Emrakul or a Lotus Petal. So I can't petal out. Okay. I attack for 7, gain 7. They probably attack with their Construct and maybe also Urza. And then I put in Grizzlebrand in combat. So I don't think I need these fetch lands. Just having Volcanic Island straight up is pretty good. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards discarded. 3 more have gotta go. The daze seems pretty bad, but it did just save my bacon there. But I think we're done dazing. Done casting Show and Tell this game. And oh yeah, Show and Tell. There we go. So I did not find any counter spells or Lotus Petals in those 14 cards. Except that one daze that I just, or the 2 dazes. Okay, the daze saved my ass. So let's see. Okay, so they're probably going to spin with Urza. And just gotta hope it misses, I guess. Alright, Bobble's not great. Grizzlebrand's still big enough to eat the Construct. And I would trade with a Construct too. I would chump a Construct. This Grizzlebrand's a freebie. I just put it into play. Alright, so they're getting a second flip off Urza. Karn's pretty good. That stops the, that stops a lot of stuff. Am I just dead to Ensnaring Bridge right now? Alright, hold on. Hold on. I think I need to try to counter this. Get in there, Grizzlebrand. I need you to find Force of Will. This is actually bad. We did not find Force of Will. I can daze the Ensnaring Bridge, though. Okay. That's going to resolve. See if Ensnaring Bridge is the get. Or if they have something that just removes Grizzlebrand or deals 2 to me somehow. If they just have, like, Pyrite Spellbomb, I lose. Shit. Alright, it was Ensnaring Bridge. And I thought I was done dazing for this match. Tilting his deck. My opponent certainly is within their rights to be tilted here, getting dazed twice when they have millions of mana in play. Okay, Lotus Petal is not a draw right now because they have Karn. So I should... Alright, if I hit them with Emrakul, what happens? They sacrifice 6 things and then kill me. If I hit Karn with Grizzlebrand, I go to 9. I think that's my line. So I attack Karn with Grizzlebrand. Oh no, I attack them. They're at 5! Alright. Luckily they conceded because I was about to throw this one. I was definitely... Unreal. Unreal stuff. In my brain, they just did not take a big chunk of damage last turn either. The Ancient Tombs is what I forgot to account for. I was like, no way my creatures are lethal. God, I'm an idiot. This is why I should not play this deck. Okay. Abrade definitely comes in. Red Blast comes in. They board into counterspells a lot of the time, but I think my counterspells are important too, so they're, I don't think I want Defense Grid. I don't think Ragavan matters because they do have kind of a lot of creatures in their deck. Spyglass looks pretty good. Explosives looks pretty good. That can kill Chalice, which is a card that I'm gonna struggle with. Is this an Omniscience matchup? Probably, given the power of their deck. Like if I show and tell and they put in Urza and then they like Karn and Snaring Bridge on their turn, I probably lose that one. They're not gonna have Dazes. They're gonna have Force of Will. If they have counters at all, it's Force of Will, and usually they sideboard those in, I think, is what that deck is currently up to. So Daze was the silent hero that game. Actually kind of a loud hero. But I still think it's one of the worst cards in the list for this. With the Omnisciences coming in, do I shave Grizzlebrand, or is it like just maximum more things to do? I think maximum more things to do is the answer. But if I show and tell, put in Omniscience, and they put in Hull Breacher, that's going to be really hard for me to beat. Do I have every answer to Hull Breacher in the deck? I do. Alright, Daze out. Gotta cut 2 more cards. Is it just a Grizzlebrand? Is that possibly accurate? Alright, I'm willing to believe it. And Lotus Petal because they're a Karn deck and a Chalice deck. And I leave the Spirit Guides. Maybe that's wrong, but it makes sense to me right now. Remember that time my opponent was at 5 and I was about to attack their Planeswalker instead of them? This hand has all sorts of A's and B's. I can remove a Chalice of the Void with Engineered Explosives if they have it. And Ponder, I'd show and tell, probably wins the game if I can Ponder into it. If they have an early Hull Breacher, I probably lose. Okay. Let's get to work. I need my 3rd land and a counterspell basically here. So there's the 3rd land and a Braid and Spyglass. I think I would rather have a Braid than Spyglass. Do not shuffle. So I guess Spyglass checking their hand is worth a lot, though so is just beating stuff that they put into play. Got show and tell. Got show and tell. Alright. Just Emery. Don't worry. They hit an Echo and an LED, so they can mess me up here if they want to. But I'm probably going to Abrade the Emery. So let's just do that. Actually, that's terrible, because if they... I'm going to run out explosives on 0. Just as something here. And I need to leave up the Abrade, because if they have Hull Breacher, I just freaking lose. I can beat Karn here with my show and tell. If they have Force of Will, I'm in trouble. Alright, well, there's the Hull Breacher. Alright, so I can't stop any of this stuff from happening, or at least, yeah, so when they pop LED, they'll be Hellbent, and then I can kill the Hull Breacher. So I can stop this stuff from happening. If they have a counterspell in their hand, they have to wait until next turn to cast Echo with their lands, because they lose their hand if they go for it now. And if they do that, I'll Abrade in the end step, and if they fight over that, I'll just cast Show and Tell, Omniscience, cast Emrakul, and Crunch. So I'm feeling pretty reasonable here. Their Echo will resolve, though. If they go for it, they just don't get the Hull Breach out of it, which could be anything. Like, the fact that I'm set up to win the game right now, getting my hand wheeled isn't super exciting. Go through to a creature, let's get rid of this thing. And we get a fresh hand, but so do they. Bummer. Alright. So, I have a pair of A's, no B's. And they get to deploy the second hand here. Just deploying Mox Opal. Spirit Guide. I think we start with a Ponder, because I'm looking for a monster to pay off. I have a specific target in mind. Alright, Grizzlebrand certainly checks that box. Do not shuffle. Then I can cast my sneak attack right now and activate it. Yeah, I think that is where I want to be. My opponent said BRB in the chat, so I wonder if they're F6'd and I can just do what I want here. Certainly looks like it. So they're going to come back to a Grizzlebrand in play, maybe an Emrakul with it. So there's Emrakul. I'm drawing to 3 outs to win the game on the spot. Red Elemental Blast, that's not it. Okay, so I can do not have my land drop, just making sure. Crunch them. I gain 7, and then I think I just go to clean up and leave my hand full of Force of Wills and monsters that kill them next turn. Alright, so my hand is Emrakul and 3 Force of Wills, 3 blue cards. And I've passed the turn. This feels like a pretty good spot. I think it's kind of safe to say, though I've been betrayed before. Alright, here we go. Emrakul. I'm going to attack my opponent's life points directly. Alright, we got the GGs in the chat. So that came down, game 1 at least, if they pop their LED and pay for my days, I think they're pretty far ahead. But game 2 was a pretty clean smashing. Alright, 2-1, on to the next round. I'm on the play with a dump truck of a hand I'm going to keep. I have an A, 3 cantrips to find B, and the mana to make it all happen, so let's go. I am going to choose to just ignore Wasteland, because in the past, I've been both earlier in this league and in the past when I've played Sneak Attack, I've tried to play around Wasteland, and then I end up with not enough red sources to use the Sneak Attack once I get there. So this hand has enough lands that I don't even really care about it. So my opponent mulled to 5. So we're going to find out pretty soon if they are a combo deck or just unlucky. I'm going to lead on Preordain for the reasons I've described in the past. Okay, I actually do want this Daze in case they are a combo deck. This mull to 5 has me a little sussed out. Fiery Islet. Alright, maybe it's just Delver. They can't cast Daze with this card. They could spell Pierce me either way, so let's brainstorm. I mean, this is a lot of mana, but I'm good on mana. So that was a pretty bad brainstorm, actually. It just moved cards around, didn't actually improve my hand at all. So I'm going to ponder now. I'm looking for specifically a monster to put into play, and I can do that next turn. Hello. Alright, do not shuffle my deck. So I have Sneak Attack that can play around Daze, and or have Daze back up next turn. A little end step brainstorm here. Not sure about that. If they dash Ragavan here, the top of my deck is Brainstorm. So I gotta respect that. Okay, so I can play my Lotus Petal to play around their Daze. And I'm just gonna put Sneak Attack on the stack. They can't Daze me, they can force me. If they force me, is what it is. I'll just continue cantripping next turn. Try to find another enabler. Their hand clearly does not have a threat in it. Oh, they're just conceding. Alright, Brainstorm didn't find what they needed to. Alright, vroom vroom. Sometimes you just go. Sometimes you just turn 3 Sneak Attack against Delver, who didn't do anything. This isn't necessarily Delver. It could be like any sort of Ragavan deck, like any sort of... I don't know if that mid-range Standstill Ragavan or Zasaga deck that's really popular right now. I haven't studied that list to know if it has a Fiery Islet in it or not. I think I want a Braid. Definitely want Red Blast. Want Blue Blast. Want Hydro Blast or Flusterstorm. I don't think I need Omniscience for this matchup. I don't want Blood Moon either. I think I was busy talking about that Urza Saga build of Ragavan when I put Blood Moon into the pile. I don't want it against Blue-Red Delver. I might want it against the Saga deck, but we don't know if that's what we're up against yet. Defense Grid looks pretty good against this deck that played a couple blue lands then died. Do I want Engineered Explosives? Probably not. So I think I'm just trying to put stuff on the stack here with protection, whatever protection I can provide it. One more card if I want all of these in, and I think that I do. I don't think this is where I want my Ragavans. I don't think that's for the Delver Mirror, because they'll just like have Ragavans. Pyroclasm is also on the maybe list if we do get into a game that's a little longer and I need to buy time. The only things left for me to cut are like cantrips, force of wills, or monsters, which like none of which seem particularly cuttable. Like a sneak attack, maybe, but it just seems like overloading their counterspells is how I'm going to win this game. So the Pyroclasm's definitely not happening, and maybe I could just like cut a Preordain to get the rest of these interactive spells in. I don't know. That looks like as good as I can do. I'm sure this is not what JPA would do. So let me know in the comments, as always, how you would sideboard here. Okay, so I have a turn 2 show and tell with force backup, assuming that Ponder or Draw Step finds the second land. So let's try this. Hope I don't get stifled out of this game right now. I will force a Will of Stifle. Alright, that resolved. I'm not going to fetch Volcanic Island here because I don't really need red as part of this plan. I think I have to shuffle this. I just need lands, none of this stuff. And Defense Grid's good, but it's not a land. I think the best draw in my deck is City of Traders, because then I can play around Days, and it gives me the reload of the second show and tell on the following turn. Brainstorm was a good backup plan. If I don't draw the land and get to jam show and tell, Brainstorm at least keeps me playing this game for a little while. Another end step Brainstorm. Like, that's generally a combo deck play pattern. Okay, is this the mirror? Oh, interesting. I see. Okay, so probably want to force this, pitching one of the show and tells. Because if this resolves, they get to paint everything red, and then they blue blast my island and I lose. Or I could just let this resolve, fight over the blue blast. Alright, I think that's probably better. Oh, everything's black. Oh no, just Griselbrand's black. Everything's blue. Alright. Interesting. Alright. Time to brainstorm. Okay, found everything I wanted. Put back this and this. So I can put show and tell on the stack with double force of will backup to put Emrakul into play. Alright, so show and tell. They could put in Grindstone, which might kill me. Alright, so I'm going to let this resolve. If they do put in Grindstone, I'm going to have to draw 14 looking for fast mana and a Braid. But I hope they just cast Force of Will here. Uh-oh. They let it resolve. One of us is dead. Duretti. Alright, so Duretti entombs the Grindstone. Sacrifice an artifact, return an artifact with mana value 3 or less. So currently they would have to sacrifice Painter to pick up the Ensnaring Bridge. If they do that, they're not winning that fight. I don't think I draw a bunch of cards now. Like, they don't currently have red mana, or yeah, and I can counter basically anything. This is kind of tight. They still don't have red mana to activate Duretti with. I'll Force of Will a Lotus Petal in this position. This is pretty funny. Alright, I don't think I care about that. They still can't activate Duretti. Everything is blue and red now. Except for Griselbrand, who's blue, red, and black. Okay. Professionally in weirdo time. Let's see if I can win this game in this combat step. Okay, so my Hydroblast destroys target permanent now. Sneak attack puts Emrakul into play. Do I have Emrakul? No, I just have a bunch of Griselbrands. Alright, so I'm gonna play this. God, these cards are so beautiful. Look at this card. This gold border show and tell. Wow. I wish it actually looked like that. Okay, so I'm gonna attack. I think rather than trying to combo off right now, like their Hydroblast turning on all of, or their Painters turning on all of my blasts is just too juicy right now. I love it. And I'm going to have to discard 4 cards. I think I can afford to do that. So I think one of the redundant Grizzlebrands can go. All cards are blue, so any of these pitch to Force of Will. So don't need Show and Tells. Yeah, I think Show and Tells are the cards I want to discard. I can pitch any of these to Force, including the land. Alright, here we are. So if they find a red source and if they flip the Painter on red into Ensnaring Bridge, then I actually do need to find my Abrade. Maybe I'm just supposed to destroy Duretti or Goblin. Why do I keep calling this Duretti? This is not Duretti. This is Goblin Engineer. Maybe I'm just supposed to destroy Goblin Engineer before they do any of this. But I can take an attack for 3. And I think I want to fetch here. Get a Volcanic Island. Do I want to Hydroblast? Or do I want to just save that? Protect myself? Oh, I have the Abrade now, so we're in business. Time to pay 7 and try to find Emrakul to win. Okay, found Emrakul. And I can go to 4. Does that matter? 1, 2, 3. So Simian Spirit Guide. Alright. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Sneak attack is on the stack. The sneaky snack. And I have multiple Force of Wills and Hydroblast to fight over stuff. Then Exile Spirit Guide. Here comes Emrakul. Now let's party. Alright, they've conceded. That was a weird game. They just didn't have red mana to get their Ensnaring Bridge into play. I had a couple answers by the time the game ended, but it would have delayed the game early. Like, stopped the first Grizzlebrand hit and been pretty great. Alright, 3-1. On to the final round. I'm on the draw in the final round, playing for the 4-1, and I have a turn 2 Grizzlebrand with protection. I'm going to keep. This is our first, like, true and utter hand. This is where it's the mirror, and they just put in something better than me. That's how we're going to get tilt out of this match. Abundant Harvest. Okay. It looks like they're Bant. Okay. They wished for a Terminus to put in their hand. You got it. Okay, so this is great because if this one doesn't work, I have a second one to jam next turn. Spirit Guide, Show and Tell. Here we go. Grizzlebrand's in play now. Uro is whatever. So that does let them hit a land drop, which can set up Terminus, but I have Counterspell for that. I probably should have waited till their upkeep to draw 7, because I'm going to have to go to discard. That was just a spew. But I do have a bunch of Force of Wills now, so wasn't the worst. But could have sequenced that better. So 1, 2, 3 cards, discard, and how many forces is too many? Am I going to need to show this Emrakul? Like, they could just, like, cast Terminus, I guess. But I like having a backup. I don't know what this Ponder is for, but Daze is almost as good as Ponder right now. Alright. Here we go. 2 Force of Wills, plus a second round of combo if necessary. I'm going to pitch Force to the first Force. Okay, that was good enough. They just conceded to the Force on Teferi. Alright, we got there. So we're playing against Bant. Red Blast is good. Flusterstorm's good. Defense Grid's good. Spyglass can name Teferi, but I don't really think I need to plan for that. This might be a Ragavan matchup. Finally, a Ragavan matchup, by the way. Hydroblast doesn't do anything. I don't think a Braid or Moon matter. So here's these things. Containment Priest is probably one of the hate pieces they'll have. So a Braid might be good. Or maybe I don't think I can ignore it. Like, if they have Priest, I actually do need an answer in my deck. Oh, Omniscience beats Priest. I think that's a better way to fight this than a Braid. So what am I doing here? I think on the draw, the Dazes can get a little skinnier. Simian Spirit Guide, maybe. Preordain. These decks tend to have Narset in them, though. Seeing Teferi makes me wonder if, oh no, they had Terminus. So the stock like Bant Control Shell does not have Terminus or Teferi, so they're doing something kind of off on their own. They're the heavier, like more Miracle-y control version, which definitely I don't think really changes much. It makes Ragavan better, so I'll take that. But it does make me want to slow down quite a bit, though the Resolve Grizzlebrand draw 14 lines do require you to have some amount of free mana still in your hand. I think I probably want to shave a Grizzlebrand based on the possibility of Narset and Omniscience is coming in, and I have alternate win conditions in Ragavan now. So, alright, this is what I'm going to do. It's the grid. I'm keeping it. Let's test that hand early and often. The Flooded Strand. Carpet of Flowers. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that will certainly make some mana. Unless I draw Ancient Tomb. Did not draw Ancient Tomb. So I'm gonna Reordain first. Well, there's Ancient Tomb and Flusterstorm. I don't think I need Flusterstorm if I have Defense Grid. So the Ancient Tomb lets me play Grid next turn, and then also Ponder without adding another island to the board. Grid lets me play around Teferi in a meaningful way too. Like if their plan is to just slam Teferi, which seems like a reasonable plan to me, then okay, cool. They cashed in their draw card right away, which is good for me. Is it time for Defense Grid now? I think so. That will at least test their counter spells. Like literally now or never. Let's go. And then let's find a monster. These cards aren't helpful. I found Show and Tell. So the Brainstorm, if Brainstorm finds like Omniscience and another card, we're doing all right. Force of Will. So they can cast a spell right now. Brainstorm just bricking like the Dickens. I'm going to put back Ancient Tomb and one of the Show and Tells. All right, I'm going to cast Show and Tell right now and see what they want to do about it. Like, I'll put the ball in their court. Because ramming spells onto the stack right now is how I can pull ahead. Like, if they waste one of their forces on this, that wasn't important anyway. And then I have the sneak attacks sneaking. I'm still sitting on the forces for when I'm ready to fight. They didn't make mana with Carpet, so they just don't have proactive spells to play. Alright. Ponder looks pretty good here. Ragavan, don't mind if I do. Do not shuffle. And then, yeah, let's... So I think I should leave my blue mana available. I'll take 2 to dash the Rag. Alright, here's the technology. The secret tech. Is it good? They can't cast Icefang Coatl here. They can Force of Will. Can't Force of Negation. I don't expect a Swords to Plowshares. I don't need to hit Teferi. I want to attack my opponent. Start pulling ahead on that stuff. Veil of Summer. They haven't played any spells this turn, so that doesn't matter. Alright. Rag comes back. Now this game is about something different. Right, they did make Carpet mana this time. They're brainstorming. And the top of my deck isn't great, so this Rag was a really good find. Containment Priest. Yeah, that resolves. Teferi. Plus Teferi. So Teferi can bounce next turn. Alright, so I can dash the Rag to trade with Containment Priest and at least get that out of the way. And if they don't want to take that line, then I get to connect with Rag again, which either way it works for me. Alright, they're taking the Rag slaps. Hey, Swords to Plowshares. That's a pretty good card when I'm facing Containment Priest. Get it out. And then, do I put a Show and Tell on the stack here? I think so. Do they have the counterspell? Yes! We have officially worked their hand down to nothing with bait spells. And Ragavan just doing nasty work over here. Teferi can bounce Defense Grid this turn if it even cares. Okay, what are they tutoring up? Brainstorm? Alright. So they're drawing Brainstorm for their turn. Teferi can draw another card. But they are trying to load up here. Bouncing Defense Grid means I can cast Force of Will. If I need to... Oh no, they still have Teferi. No, they have the one-sided Defense Grid. I take it back. I don't get spells at all. Oh right, I can't force on my turn either. I think I said something to the contrary a couple turns ago where I still have Force of Will, but I obviously just don't. Well, that was a pretty good Brainstorm plus draw step. My goodness. So I think they will... Actually, I don't know what they're going to do. I guess they know what their top card is, so I will attack my opponent. Let's see if they want to... They just gave me this sneak attack, so let's see if they want to fight over this, or just let me hit with them with Rag again. Okay. Honor. Omniscience is good. Grizzlebrand is bad. Actually, all of this is pretty bad. No, that's not true. The Omniscience is reasonable. That is the way that I can still win this game. Misty Rainforest, not great. Actually, I'm going to shuffle this. Alright, drew the card I wanted. The Motobug actually helped me there. So, let's get Defense Grid back into play. My life total is starting to be a concern. I've tapped Ancient Tomb a lot, and now they actually have a 2/2 in play. So, plus Teferi, Brainstorm with Jace. I think they've turned the corner here. The turn 2 Teferi was pretty good. It's safe to say. That has had some influence on this game. Now they also have Hullbreacher. That's a lot of things. Alright, they are Hellbent though, so what can I do to actually win this game? I guess I have to dash Ragavan again. See if they want to trade Hullbreacher for it. In we go. I probably would have traded Hullbreacher, but I'm a maniac. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cast Sneak Attack. Just want to get one into play. I know I can't sneak with it, but if I draw, like... I guess I spent all my treasures, so I can't even draw a Braid, and I don't have a monster anyway. Yeah, this is not actually doing anything. Here they come. I'm at 2. Can't tap Ancient Tomb anymore. I thought we were doing well for a while this game. Like, this opening hand was really good, and we just got picked apart. Alright, so that doesn't do it. I guess I have to dash Ragavan and hope for an actual factual miracle. I guess not literally. I can't cast Terminus. Even though it would be good. Attack my opponent again. So they have been brainstorming, so they know exactly what's on top of their deck, and that it's not helpful to me. Okay, I'm dead. So 2 Containment Priests confirmed, plus Hullbreacher. So I think I do want a Braid in the deck. Engineered Explosives also answers Priest. Like, that game just came down to Priest by a long shot. So these two come in. The Hullbreacher does have me slightly concerned. Sneak Attack is good, but I think the Omniscience is the sidestep here. Daze is good against Teferi, which did have a huge effect on that game. But I don't think having more Dazes in the deck is gonna be a huge break either way. I think it's more important to draw important spells in this matchup, I think, than specifically do anything quickly. No red source. Imagine a turn 1 Rag. I am going to... I think I'm actually going to keep this, because Sneak Attack's powerful. Brainstorm sees a lot of cards. If Brainstorm finds a red source, I can just, like, Brainstorm next turn, clean my hand up, cast turn 2 Ragavan. Really wish that was on turn 1, though. This really changed the dynamics of this matchup. They had a Ponder, and they did not shuffle it. Red source? Alright, we found a red source, so I can Brainstorm first. Okay, that's a lot of red sources. Don't need this island or this second Ancient Tomb. I'm gonna get Volcanic Island and just cast Heads Up Ragavan. This does run into Icefang Coatl, but they have to have it. Okay, wow, that's good. Alright, so they can Teferi and bounce right now. God, Carpet's really good. Love that card. So I am just like totally rooting for Bant because that is like I would prefer Bant to beat Sneak and Show 100% of the time, but unfortunately, I'm the baddie right now. So I can dash rag to clear out Teferi, or I can dash rag to hit my opponent's face, but I think clearing out Teferi is really important. I could also just cast Sneak Attack, but I think I want to dash and clear Teferi first. And if they have Force of Will for this, I'll just cast the other one. Alright, Force Pitching Ponder, you got it. Fortunately, I have to continue fetching islands, because that's all my deck does. Another monkey. So this is pretty cool because the monkey is in play, and I have Sneak Attack with 5 mana, so if I find a monster, I can deploy it. Alright, or they could just answer the monkey easily with their deck full of great answers to the spells. Alright, Carpet of Flowers has completely flipped this matchup on its side. Like, I'm doing fine here, except for that, which obviously is a huge deal, but wow, is it a huge deal. Okay, so I'm gonna put back, I have to put back 2? Both of them? Alright. I think the answer is, like, I'm gonna use Red Elemental Blast to hit Teferi, and then I guess I tuck the Abrade and the Sneak Attack. Oh no, I can't tuck that because they have Jace. If they Fate Seal me, I can't lose my Sneak Attack. So, how do I set this up so Jace doesn't kill me, and I can still combo next turn? I guess I don't need the Force if Teferi's still in play. I can put... and Hullbreacher is... Like, normally I would stack this in a way that Hullbreacher... Or I would just like put Brainstorm in my hand and hide Force, and like I could Brainstorm for the Force if I need it, but Brainstorm is also my only blue card, so I can't do that. This is hard. I mean, Abrade's definitely going back. It's just what order it's going back in. So I think it's Abrade and Force of Will. Or Force of Will and Abrade. No, Abrade and Force of Will, because if they Fate Seal me, I do want... I want that to not lose an important piece of interaction. Okay, here we go. They have Jace. Force of Will's on top of my deck. It looks like they have another Teferi. No, they would have made mana with Carpet if they had another Teferi, but they get to Brainstorm with Jace before they have to do anything. So we're going to second main, see if they make mana. Right, they are making mana. Uro, yeah, okay. Here's Uro. And the backside of Uro. Okay. I mean, don't love it, but those are just all the cards they saw with Brainstorm. Okay, so I have Grizzlebrand with Force backup right now. Let's party. Gotta hope they don't have 2 things. Alright, we're in there. Let's see if I can get 2 Emrakul. Yep. Alright, we did it, team. You're taking 22. It's outmuscled the slow Bant deck. Somehow. I will remember to attack my opponent this time, and they're at exactly 22. Oh. Alright, we faded some tilt there. Other than the first round, where I had like the full win locked up, buttoned, counter back up, just saw 12 cards and none of them were Grizzlebrand or Emrakul. Like, that was kind of a tilt, but the rest of the match, or the rest of the league, was definitely pretty smooth sailing, even with some questionable plays, some tough mulligans. I'm not 100% how to sideboard, and like, we definitely saw the strength of Sneak and Show during this league. Those Ragavans out of the sideboard, they only came in one matchup, but they were really good there. Like, game 2 we would not have been in at all in round 5, except for Ragavan. We still lost, but it would have been a complete ranching instead of just a normal ranching. And game 3, it actually just forced them to play a totally different game that they weren't ready for a couple turns, and then sneak it in. So this felt pretty good. The No Omniscience main deck is a pretty cool meta call that I think makes a lot of sense right now, but I do like having access to them in the 75 for when you want them. And the sideboard full of fun ofs, just one Blood Moon, one Pyroclasm, one Abrade, one Reb, one Fluster, like that's pretty cool. Again, I'm not a sneak and show expert, so I'm not going to critique JPA 93 sideboard, because JPA 93 is the name and face of this archetype, and whatever he's doing is correct. But it did seem right. It felt like things lined up. It felt like I had questions for the answers that my opponent was boarding into, so like counter questions for their game 1 answers. So it felt really good. A smooth 4-1. I am not on tilt, so Scotch, sorry. I mean, this is the deck that I like playing with and against the least in all of Legacy, but I am not going to tilt on a 4-1, so nice try, but I'm too chill. You're not going to get me that easy. Thank you all for watching. Scotch, thank you for asking me to play this, even though your motivations were questionable with the play the deck that tilts you the most. You're a sick person, but I appreciate you and your support for the channel. Everyone else watching, make sure to hit the comments with your thoughts about the league, the deck, how I played it. I'm sure there's plenty to critique after this one. And remember to like and subscribe to the channel while you're here, and I'll see you next time.